Frog. That's what we're making today. Frog. So, yeah, I'm going to start out with some UV resin to do certain little niblets of him. So I'm just getting all of my UV accoutrement handy. Got my handy dandy Let's Resin light. I have my colored UV resin, Let's Resin, and I'm going to be using lake green, green, and red for this particular portion. And the first thing I'm going to do is his eyes, and I'm going to do his eyes in red, okay? So last time I missed his eyes, so this time I have to be a little more cognizant of where they are. So I have my finger on the other side so I can see my finger through the mold. Now for his little toes, I'm going to go in just with the regular green. Ooh, under pressure. It's the Freddie Mercury and David Bowie of UV resin. All right, so there's that part of our froggy friend. So I'm going to mix up some resin, and I will see you in a minute. Okay, so I'm going to get Froggy Buddy back in shot here. I have 1 ounce of my Fuitum 1:1, and I have mixed it thoroughly until a thick and creamy consistency. It's a joke. Laugh it up, people. These are the jokes. Okay. And my hands are cooperating today, so you can obviously see that I'm in Kermit mode. So there you go. Stop PPE shaming, folks, please. It's rude. Alrighty, so I'm going to pour my 1 ounce of resin into his little back and his little head. High-tech cleaning device. Today's high-tech cleaning device comes to you care of Sparkle. Yes, Sparkle. Not sponsored. So, just making sure that we don't have any boobles or anything. And I'm obviously, of course, not going to torch. I am going to let it sit for a second just to let some of the bubbles come to the top, because this stuff degasses brilliantly. And then I'm going to spray it with alcohol just a little bit, because I don't want to risk breaking too much of the surface tension and having it going into the legs. So I am going to let it degas by itself for a while. On that note, I will do that, and then I will see you guys back for next steps. See you soon. Alrighty, so our clear resin has been sitting in the frog for about half an hour now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in with my About Alcohol ink Deep White. It's a sinker. And just shaking it up very well. I'm going to go in and drop, some drops of sinker. Right, so I'm going to try something. And I am trying out a new UV resin. And it's from Resiners. And this is their clear hard type. I got it on Amazon. I will link it down below in the description box, of course. So we'll see how it does. But I figured it's Resiners. It's in the name. They got to know what they're doing, right? And of course, I love my airless. So I figured I'd give their UV resin a shot. So I'm just putting this into my little cabochon mold, and I don't see any bubbles. Awesome. Always a good thing with no bubbles. Now I do know, we know that alcohol inks don't normally work the best with UV resin. They can tend to leave a skin on things and on UV resin. So I'm gonna give it a shot anyway. So I've got my About Alcohol inks. This one I'm using right here is bright green. And I am also going to be using lemon yellow, and put a drop of that in the middle, right? Okay. So I'm going to let that sit for a sec and do its thing and think about stuff and, just really have a good time just marinating. And give that a shot to just kind of move and groove. And what I'm going to try to do is make a little swirly doodle in the middle. A swirly doodle. Much like we did with the middle of the frog. So I'm going to put this on for 150 seconds. So I'll see you back then. Okay, so now that that is all cured, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over it, because it's got that sticky tacky alcohol ink. Because they're made with not isopropyl alcohol, they're made with I think propylene alcohol. That's why they don't cure in UV resin very well. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to give it a top coat, a pretty healthy one, of UV resin, and get any little burbles. See a burble? I do not want the burble. Go away, burble. There we go. All right, and then I'm going to cure it again for another 90 seconds or so. So see you soon. Okay, so that's done. Now, let's get our frog. Insert frog here. We're going to pop this little duder out. And essentially, that back coat of clear UV resin sealed in the sticky, yucky bits mostly. And then we have kind of a swirly doodle kind of thing happening. It's not perfect, but it's neat. So what I'm going to do on this is, since our frog is still a little tacky, this is hot, by the way. So since our frog is still a little bit tacky, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick this on his head. And now it's mostly cured, but not completely cured. So what this is going to do is it's going to stick it in place in the froggy head. All right, so now what I'm going to do is mix up some resin, and we are going to fill her up. Right, so I have 80 ml of my regular 1:1 resin, and gotten that pretty darn well mixed up. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in with, what do I want? Actually, I was going to use Mojito, but then I thought, no. So I'm going to go in with dark green by About Alcohol Ink. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to start with. Let's see how that looks. Yeah, I like it. Push my glasses up, and let's start pouring. Start pouring in his little butt. Push that up a little bit. Now, I know that his little feetses are not completely covered and done. I know. I'm going to let this level out a little bit and see how much more I need to make to get those little guys to fill in completely. So rather than make too much resin and risk wasting it, I'm going to attempt to be patient. All right, so let's get some alcohol on him. That'll also help the resin move around a little bit. There is something. Got it. Ha-ha! There was a string or something. So, for the love of gravy. My goodness, that string just does not want to let go. I'll get little bubbles out of his little head. Try not to mess with our cabochon. Scrapey, scrapey on his little buns. Okay, so I'm gonna let that sit for a little bit and I will see you soon. Okay, I lied, I'm not done. So I've decided after letting his feet settle that I've mixed up about 10 ml of resin again, and I am adding in metallic green copper alcohol ink. And pardon, Captain Critter has the hiccups because he's eating and it's giving him the hiccups. So I'm going to get that mixed in real good. Real good. Sounded very Texan there. So there's his little feet all filled up. Another spray of alcohol, and yeah, now I'm done. See you soon. The frog is done. Time to release the frog. So, get out his little buns. Gingerly go around weird little toes. Get that thigh. And this is why we're careful. Okay. Once we get his little thighs out, should make it a little easier. There we go. Looks like I got a little toe cleanup to do, but oh, well, there you go. So there's that. Let's get his little front feet. Come on, little front feet, you can do it. There we go. And get his little chin. The chin is always the hardest part for me, because there's nothing really to grab onto, you know, to loosen the mold, and I don't have any nails to speak of, so grr, grr. All right, well, let's do this. Let's go backwards. Let's see if we can loosen him up that way. Get him loose, get him comfy. There we go. All right, so we have some chin bubbles. That was to be expected. We have some toe fringe. That was to be expected. But, ha! Look at him. That is awesome. The little cabochon in his head, the little swirl on his back. That is very cool. I love his feet. Yeah, digging that the most. He is just, he's a cool, simple little frog, you know, nothing exciting. Nothing terribly, you know, hey, I'm a frog. I love it. I love it. Look at his little red eyes. Look at that. Isn't that neat? Ha. So yeah, there's Froggy. I hope you guys like him. I know I do. So let me know what you think down in the comments. Hit that like button. If you haven't subscribed already, please do. We would enjoy your company in the Critterverse. So, thank you so much. I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Cheers.